Kia ora, this is Chris with Earth Sciences New Zealand with a weather update. It's quiet weather for now, quiet and chilly weather. Look at the map. This is Wednesday morning. We are recording this, by the way, Tuesday afternoon on the 22nd of July. So we're looking ahead to the next day, 23rd of July, Wednesday morning. Big old fat high pressure. Pardon me, you can see it right there over the South Island. That means basically dry weather. Yeah, a few showers early Wednesday morning for perhaps Tarafa to Gisborne, and especially toward, say, northern Hawke's Bay. But as I play this through, that's basically about it. A few showers in the eastern part of the North Island. I did mention chilly temperatures. That is probably grabbing weather headlines. So let's get to it, show you where the coldest temperatures are likely to be. We're going to use 0 Celsius. So these are the odds of getting below 0 Celsius. So let's go to Wednesday morning. Yeah, I would say a high probability for much of the South Island. Anywhere you see the red, that's a high probability. The orange, a medium probability, and some probability in the yellow. Even, gosh, the North Island, just zoom it into the North Island real quick because there is a little bit of variance. Not quite so much in Auckland, but certainly the Waikato, looking like we'll see temperatures cold enough for a proper frost. And if we look at the odds for, say, minus 5 Celsius, so we're lowering that threshold to even colder temperatures, there could be a hard frost, a severe frost for parts of the Waikato, interior portions of the North Island. Yeah, so some areas getting a pretty cold, I guess, morning or 3. It's not just Wednesday morning, it's Thursday morning and beyond. So let's take that national view once again, and we're going to wind things through. Let's go back to 0 Celsius to start off there. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Notice that coloring starts to kind of erode away. So here's Wednesday morning. We don't see as much on Thursday morning. It goes away a bit more Friday morning and certainly Saturday morning. So the mornings will be chilly, but perhaps as we get toward the end of the week, not quite as cold. And what about that really cold stuff, minus 5 or lower? Yeah, look at the South Island, certainly the higher peaks and some of the nooks and crannies of Southland, interior, Otago. Could be seeing temperatures certainly flirting, if not exceeding or going lower than minus 5 Celsius. And that signal goes away for the North Island. So the message is that it will be dry for the most part, but it will be cold in the morning. We got to watch out for fog. Let's have a look at that. Fog is going to be, let's clean that up. We're going to use less than 1 kilometer visibility as a proxy. And you can see usual suspects over toward, interior parts of Southland. Also, the Waikato, yeah, that's a fog magnet. And also some parts of Northland, interior Northland, Wednesday morning. Looks like there'll be some fog around. The good news shouldn't be terribly widespread, but you combine the fog, particularly over Southland and the Waikato with those cold temperatures, we have to watch out for black ice. So keep that in mind, especially driving rural communities, back roads, countryside areas. There will be the fog with the cold temperatures, and that may set us up for a bit of black ice, something to keep in mind. So if it has a bit of a shine to it, looks wet, and temperatures are around 0, odds are it could be icy, so keep that in mind. Not much to talk about after that, but things get a bit more active as we get closer to the weekend and especially beyond the weekend. So we'll go to a larger view. There's this big old fat high pressure centered over the country. Clear skies mean clear skies mean with the long nights, I should say. We're getting those cold temperatures, so we can kind of manufacture that chilly air. Now, during the afternoon with the sunshine, temperatures respond nicely, and because there's not much of a wind, really a palatable or enjoyable afternoon if you don't mind those chilly starts. And as we look ahead toward, say, Friday morning, so we stop the clock at 6 a.m., notice highs still in control, but we're starting to see some cloud increase over the western lower part of the South Island. And if you look even farther west, where I'm pointing, this is rain. So indications are as we get close to the weekend, we may start to see the weather pattern shift. In fact, that's the expectation. If we look at it from a larger view, we're going to go to a global model. This goes out a few more days so we can kind of capture what may happen into, say, Saturday and Sunday. That rain forecast to get into Fiordland, west coast of the South Island. So if you have weekend plans, maybe hitting the national parks, maybe just you're out and about doing the outdoor chores, expect wet weather this weekend for the western part of the South Island. A bit of snow at higher elevations. And that wet weather doesn't look to be overly impressive. There could be a few showers on Sunday for the top of the country. We'll see on that. I'm a bit dubious if that'll happen or not. But what I do think is more likely is as we get toward Monday, we're going to see our connections to the north really start to strengthen. So you can see low pressure is forecast to be somewhere over the lower Tasman Sea. Exact location to be confirmed, but let's just go with that. And you can see that there is this band of rain which extends from the South Island all the way up north where I'm pointing into the Coral Sea. And this is an atmospheric river. The models have been pretty consistent on developing this plume of moisture coming from the subtropics and tropics that would impact much of New Zealand Monday, as early as Monday, and then into Tuesday. So this is late Monday night, early Tuesday morning. You can see that band of rain poking into the top of the South Island, western South Island, maybe parts of the North Island. And this is something we'll have to watch. Look, it's still early, but there is certainly reason to believe. We'll go to the GFS, the model from the U.S. We'll pick things up on Monday just to kind of, because that other global model stopped on Monday. So we're going to pick it up and go from Monday to Tuesday. And you can see there certainly is this connection that is also forecast across much of the top of the South Island, western South Island, and eventually the North Island. So the message is that later Monday into Tuesday, we are likely to see rain developing across the country, northern and western areas. And some of that rain could be quite heavy because it is sourced, or there are connections to the tropical north. How long things last, to be confirmed, way too early to tell. And there could be a second opportunity for rain, possibly heavy, later next week. So, look, the next few days, smooth sailing. No worries whatsoever. Just those chilly mornings with a bit of fog and maybe some black ice, as I mentioned. But generally speaking, not much of any consequence. It's more of a heads up for next week. Early next week, then again later next week. 2 rounds of heavy rain, something we'll have to watch for. And because the ground is so stinking wet across the top of the South Island and even a few other parts of the country, we do have to just keep our eyes on what may unfold for that part of the country, because that could increase the risk for things like landslips and flooding. Way too early to speculate on how things may unfold, but certainly the setup is coming together for another big rain event or two next week. We'll keep you informed as we go through the next several days. But look, make the most of this midwinter weather. We're seeing the chilly nights, chilly mornings, but at least the dry sunshine. Well, sunshine is inherently dry, but at least the dry and sunny conditions, I should say. We'll see you next time. I'm Earth Sciences meteorologist Chris Brandolini, Earth Sciences New Zealand, that is, meteorologist. We'll see you next time. Ngā mihi nui.